Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the AnyGames.ie podcast with me, Gav.
And me, Dave. Good day, Gav. It is Tuesday as we record, and the Man City and Bournemouth game has just finished 1-1, and Arsenal are champions.
Handed the title to
Handed
Arsenal.
the title. I will take that title handed. I don't care. Don't care what way it is. 1-0 to the Arsenal for the last few weeks as well. It's a good throwback to the old George Graham
Set
days.
pieces as well.
Yeah, look. Set
But
piece, ole.
like you were saying when we were watching the game, at least now you can go into the weekend knowing that you're champions. There's no anxiety.
No.
There's no jeopardy.
All that tension from the last week. I don't think I would have survived to the weekend if I had to know that Arsenal had to win that game Sunday.
22-year wait, Dave. Was it worth it?
Yeah.
Fair play to you, because if that was the United, I wouldn't be sitting here recording the podcast. As much as I love recording the podcast, a moment like that, I'd be out on the sauce.
No,
I'd have a whiskey in one hand.
I'll save that for Sunday. Save it for Sunday.
Guinness lined up for days.
Yeah. No, I'll save it for Sunday. I'll sit down, I'll actually enjoy the game, little whiskey in my hand, and watch us lift the title in fucking Selhurst Park. But anyway,
I think
you can't have it all.
I know obviously you're just happy to win it whatever way you've won it there this evening. Is there part of you that would have kind of, I know obviously the anxiety while the 90 minutes would have been playing out on the weekend, checking scores and all that sort of thing, but I think is there a bit more of a high then when you win it? Like, let's say the way City won it all those years ago when they won their first one.
I would say yes, probably. But to be quite honest with you, it's been 22 years and I actually don't care how we won it. We just need to get it over the line, and we got it over the line and it's done.
Yeah. In fairness, you've said that on here many a times. It's just about getting that one under the belt.
Yeah. It's very, very important. And I know I've called, but we'll get to our, we'll circle back to it at the end when we get to our Premier League.
Yeah, but
stuff.
We couldn't start the episode without mentioning it. So congratulations to Arsenal. Congratulations to you, Dave.
Thanks. I feel like I played my part.
You did. You played a blinder.
All those weeks of emotional wreck on this podcast. It's done. We're finished. One question for you. A question I've been asking you since the early days of the podcast. Are City back?
No, still not back.
Still not back.
And I'd say the road has got longer for them to come back from.
Probably.
The announcement of Pep leaving. But again, we'll get back to that.
Anyway.
One thing I want to say, Dave, before we get started. We've had a barrage of new followers.
We have
new listeners across multiple platforms over the past week. And we've had a lot of interaction with our last podcast. So mostly around the topic of refereeing, but we'll get into that. But I just wanted to say, for those who are new and tuning in,
thank you, first of all, for following the podcast.
Absolutely. But as you are new here, we'll just give you a quick rundown of what it is we do here at AnyGames.ie. We have a website which is set up for people to find games, local games, or to look for players. For 5-a-sides and 7-a-sides. We've got a club zone over there too for club announcements, for open training sessions, anything like that. There's a lot that goes on over there. So
worth noting as well, Gav, anything that goes up on that website, we put across all our social media platforms to shout out and try and get some attention for people.
And that also gets a shout out on the podcast as well.
Does as well. And with that in mind as well, we have stuff to shout out later.
Yeah. You can find us on most major platforms, including YouTube and Spotify. And we also put up a couple of videos as well. We attend games, do a bit of coverage, get interviews with managers, that sort of thing. And we're looking to grow. This is our first season, I would say.
Yeah, you would call it the first season because we started it in this current football season.
Yeah.
So we will look to ramp that up a little bit now when the new season starts. And
yeah, absolutely. This year was about surviving relegation, Dave.
It was
about staying up.
I think we overachieved.
I think we probably did, a bit like Southport. In Dave's football manager career.
For anybody who's new to the podcast, I'm playing football manager, but look,
he hasn't shown up in the last 3 weeks.
To work for the last 3 weeks, so
a bit like his real job.
Oh, show up.
You show up, yeah.
Yeah.
Show off. So, welcome, and check us out on all our platforms and get over to our website, anygames.ie, if you're looking to get involved in football in any capacity, whether you're looking to be backroom staff, get involved in coaching, you want to get involved in a 5-a-side or 7-a-side, whatever it might be. If you're looking for a game, if you're looking for a player, get over there and get involved. And stay tuned, because, as Dave said, season 2 will be here, and we'll be back bigger than ever.
Yeah, we still have another couple of episodes in this season.
Yeah, I
But,
think probably that's a good place to start, actually, Dave. Will we talk about what's going on over on the website this week?
I will, just to expand on what you said there just a little bit.
Yep.
In terms of the podcast, anybody who's tuning in listening to us right now, and they've heard us lead out with some Premier League talk and whatever there, we push ourselves primarily as a grassroots amateur football podcast, but we do touch on the professional game. We do talk about Premier League, and some weeks we've more amateur stuff to talk about, other weeks we've more Premier League stuff to talk about, because news is news and it comes at us as it falls. So, some weeks you'll get more Premier League, some weeks you might get a bit more amateur league. Like last week, we were very heavy on amateur league, which is great. I love those episodes when we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But so for anybody listening, we cover a bit of everything football. So
yeah, we look at Leinster Senior League, League of Ireland. We look at the Premier League, and then just global football news in general as well. And so far, it's gone down really well. We also get guests on. We interview people on the podcast as well. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since we've done that, but we do have a lot lined up, and we're coming into the summer now. People are heading away on holidays. Myself and Dave have holidays planned, not together because that'd be weird.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit like the Coca-Cola thing. We don't fly together.
We don't fly together, but there'll be loads of that for season 2. So when we come back after a short summer break,
we plan to come back stronger.
Yeah, we've loads lined up. So do stay tuned for that.
Do stay with us. I know we're rambling here a little bit. So as Gav said, I'll get straight into it then with the site activity for this week. So we had someone post in the club zone, Gav, this week, and they are a bit different this week. Usually people coming on there looking for a game of 5-a-side or looking for a club to join, stuff like that. This person is looking for a club, but they are looking for an admin role within the club. So they're over on anygames.ie in the club section, and their name is Admin Coach 26. Great name for someone looking for an admin role.
Yeah, it's all in the name.
But they are looking for a club to get involved with in the Dublin 8, 10 or 12 area. So any of those areas. If you're someone listening and you have a club over there and you're looking for people to take care of a bit of admin at the club.
Yeah, and there's there's a lot of, even at amateur level, there's a lot of admin that goes into it.
Hell of a lot that goes on.
But a lot of paperwork, like especially at the start of a season when you've got registrations, insurance, everything like that. Then you've obviously got the social media side of it as well. That's huge, promoting clubs and So if anybody in that area, with a club in that area, looking for somebody in an admin role, get in touch.
Get over to anygames.ie. Create yourself an account over there, and then you can reply to their comment over there. And then there's facility to DM people and stuff like that, so you're not sharing personal info on the actual website.
There you go.
Right, so Gav, we had a lot of interaction last week on the question about the refereeing standards in the DDSL. We put video out on that, and there's a lot of comments to get through on that. But before we get to that, and before we get to a listener question that we have as well, do you want to go through the Leinster Senior League?
Yeah, I will, of course. So, first up, Kilbarrack played host to Finglas United. That ended in a 2-1 victory for Finglas United. Ballymun beat UCD 5-2. Usher Celtic and St. Francis finished in a 1-1 draw. Then we have Kilbarrack and Wayside Celtic have just finished up there. Kilbarrack coming away with a 1-0 win there. And St. Moptus have beaten Tolka Rovers this evening as well. So, looking at the table, Malahide staying a point ahead of Kilbarrack at the moment, but it's tight. Finglas moving up to 4th there as well. I was going to say on a good run of form. They are, however, I was at the Leinster Cup semi-final last night, and Bray beat Finglas United 2-1. Great game. Very entertaining game. Finglas came out very strong, went 1-0 up. And again, it was a young enough Bray side, but they got the ball down, they played football, they were up for it, and it was a proper like rainy, muggy night.
Yeah.
Like we were soaked. It was good. I have to say the support out there for both teams was terrific. There was really strong attendance at it as well. But Bray got the equaliser, and within a few minutes had a man sent off. It was a very strong tackle on Dean Ivory as he tried to make a break down the wing. Couple of minutes then before half time, Finglas got a penalty and keeper saved it. Went in 1-0 at half time. Bray came out very strong second half.
Okay.
Got a goal early enough second half. Finglas went a bit flat. They kind of dropped off. Now, Dean Ivey, I should mention, didn't come back out second half. Obviously still feeling the effects of the knock in the first half. But the game was played at a very fast pace, very technical. You know, the ball was on the ground a lot. There wasn't too many high balls.
Good football being played.
Just, really competitive. Like, it was, as I said, the weather was miserable. The rain was coming down heavy enough at stages, and you were getting the ball skipping a lot, and some of the football on display was really good. It was a really good account, both sides. Finglas towards, I'd say, last 10-15 minutes, just threw the kitchen sink at it, came close a couple of times, just outside the post. Keeper made a couple of saves.
What you can say about Finglas is they gave a good account of themselves in that cup this year.
As they have done all season. I mean, they've another cup game in a separate cup against Black Rock coming up. I think that's this weekend. But congratulations to Bray. I mean, as I said, young side, but they know how to play football. It was a really, really competitive game, and it was worth standing in the rain for. Let's put it that way.
One of those proper games of football, like.
Yeah. So congratulations to Bray. Commiserations to Finglas.
And look, best of luck to Finglas in their cup then this weekend as well. I mean, the season they've had so far, they kind of deserve to come away with something, don't they?
You'd like to see them. We spoke to John McLaren, the Finglas United manager, a couple of weeks ago, and their priority this year was having just come up to just get their footing, just get comfortable with the league, and they've more than done that. I mean, as I said, they're up in fourth at the moment, so doing really well.
That's a really good. Like
for the club. Sorry to go across you, Dave, but the club as a whole, this the weekend just gone, we 5 teams in a cup final, and then obviously the seniors in the semi-final yesterday. Unfortunately, only 2 came away victors across those 6 games. But look, club's in a great place, having so many many finals to get there. And unfortunately, my team was one of the ones who came away.
I was just about to say commiserations to you.
Yeah, it was great game. Like, again, the weather was shocking in the lead up to the game, and then the sun came out and it stayed out for the entirety of the game. But look, gutted and heartbroken, and you can't help but think to yourself as a coach, what could we have done? How could we have set up? And then you kind of have to sit back and go, look at
90 minutes football. Yeah, and it just, anything can happen. You kind of have to look at the fact that you were in the final.
Well, that's it. That's what you have to say. It's difficult when you see the disappointment in the players, and you're trying to console them. Like, when they're that young as well.
Yeah,
it's a difficult moment. But look, we've still plenty of games left to play this season, and
these are still on for the league.
Yeah,
we're still there.
We're still there. Still plenty of games to go between now and sort of mid-June. Like, we're literally 2 games a week now for the foreseeable. So
yeah.
But
look, in terms of Finglas United, I mean, although only 2 teams came away with the silverware from the cup finals they were in this weekend, just the fact that they were in that many cup finals to begin with is testament to how the club is doing.
Yeah. Shout out to the lads on the 18 Premier team as well. They had made the FAO Youth Cup final against Peamount, and they were actually 3-0 up after 75 minutes, and changes on both sides at that stage of the game went in Peamount's favour. They managed to get it back to 3-3 before the 90 minutes and bring it to extra time, and went on and won the game 5-3. So again, congratulations to Peamount, and commiserations to Finglas United on that one as well.
Yep. So then, Gav, just to circle back then to the Leinster Senior League, and do you want to give us this week's fixtures?
Yep. So again, we're getting to that time of the season where the fixtures are coming thick and fast. So I'm just going to do up till next Sunday just to give us a kind of overview of what's coming up this week. And starting off with Bangor Celtic playing host to Ballymun. We've got Lucan United playing host to Usher Celtic. UCD are away to Colesta Donecarney. And Ballymun up again against St. Francis, and Bangor up again against St. Moctus. And we'll cover the rest of this fixtures then on next week's episode.
Brilliant.
And we'll move on then, Dave, and take a look at the League of Ireland and some of the results from last week.
Yeah, so the first one up there was Bows at home to Drogheda. Bows back winning again, 2-1. Finding a little bit of form again. That's 2 wins in a row, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Much needed bit of form for Bows as well. And the next game was Pats at home to Shelbourne. And Pats dropping points. Lose 1-0.
Yeah, and just as important, Shell's picking up points. I was looking at something online there today, and on home form, Shells would essentially be top of the league.
Oh, really?
So they're the best team away from home this season so far.
Interesting.
But what would normally be a fortress in Tolka Park just hasn't been that way this season so far.
It's an unusual one, isn't it?
Yeah.
The next one up then, you'd consider a bad result for Derry City, but Waterford 2-2. Derry City, Waterford.
Desmond.
Yeah, Desmond. Good result for Waterford.
Absolutely,
who have been struggling a little bit since coming up, but there you go. And then the next one, another big result, Dundalk beating Shamrock Rovers 1-0 at home.
Huge.
Great weekend for both.
Great weekend for both. Great weekend for Shells. And
actually, sorry, Gav, we had a game on Monday evening as well.
We did.
Waterford again, 2-1 win at home to Drogheda.
Yeah, another good result for them.
Yeah.
I was looking at the table earlier, and we had spoke about Galway, just coming up and making a name for themselves. They're after creeping up there, and they still have a game in hand. Like, they could find themselves in 5th place if they win that game in hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, that's all right.
They're doing all right now. Shells again, they also have a game in hand.
Okay.
But they'll be up there, so they're doing well.
Yep. So we'll look ahead then to the weekend coming up.
Yep.
First game of the weekend, well, the first game on the list, should I say, is Derry City at home to St. Pat's. Pats will be looking to bounce back there.
So will Derry.
I think, but yeah, true. Then we have Galway United at home to Bows. Tricky one for Bows.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a case to be made in nearly all of these games that, it could go either way.
Yeah.
There's very little splitting them. I mean, we look down, not to skip through the fixtures, but we look at Shamrock Rovers playing host to Sligo Rovers there, and a couple of weeks ago we were talking about how Sligo had picked up a bit of form, haven't gotten off to a bad start, but they still find themselves down there.
Yeah.
At the lower end of the league. So again, they'll be wanting to come out swinging and, really go hard on Rovers having lost as well over the weekend. So it's good. It's interesting. It's exciting. Even if you're a neutral watching some games, there always seems to be good fighting spirit.
There's always there's always jeopardy involved. Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next game up then, Shelbourne at home to Waterford. Don't know why I said it like that, but there you go. Waterford. You would think Shelbourne win, but Waterford on the back of a couple of decent results. Confidence about it.
That one's at Tolka Park, is it? Did you say?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So Shells will probably lose.
Well, yeah, fair point actually. Yeah. Then next up is the derby, Drogheda Dundalk.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, not a big one. They're all kind of big ones, aren't they?
I know, we feel like saying that nearly every, but I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's that type of season, and it's still early enough in the season where there's no real momentum being gathered. You could have said, okay, Pats and Rovers are kind of starting to pull away there now, but then a couple of results don't go their way, and the likes of Bows and stuff capitalise.
Yeah,
opens it back up again. So yeah,
that's fine.
It's a good point of the season.
The final game of the Friday fixtures then is, excuse me, Shamrock Rovers at home to Sligo Rovers.
Yeah, well, I already touched on that one. So it's going to that'll be an interesting one. I'd say that would probably be one of the picks of the weekend. That and the Dundalk Drogheda game would be juicy, I'd say.
That's always a big one. So looking at the league table then, You have Shamrock Rovers sitting on top on 34 points, Pats on 31, and then Bows on 28. So it has tightened up a little bit between the top three with the last couple of weekends. Excuse me, can't get that frog out of my throat. And then you go Dundalk, Shelbourne, Derry, Galway, Drogheda, Sligo, Waterford in that order.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice way to rattle through the league there, Dave.
It is. I don't know. People want to hear me rattling on.
Probably not.
Points, you know.
I don't. Well, we're after getting a few new followers, Dave. So you need to make an effort, make a good first impression if they haven't gone back through a catalogue.
This is true. I'm not going back now to do it. I can't. You caught me on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, caught you on the hop.
To move on then, Gav.
Yes.
Speaking of new listeners, new followers, and people who've been interacting with us, we had a lot of interaction on TikTok when we put out a video about the refereeing standard in DDSL from our conversation last week, which also came from another listener question.
Yes.
And there was a lot to be said.
And different sides of the coin.
Yeah, like different takes on it. And it kind of, the conversation evolved into, because the question was about the DDSL.
Yeah.
But it kind of evolved into amateur football in general, and there's people giving their 2 cents on professional football as well, the referees. And
yeah, and the point always goes back to the referee having a very difficult job, and it's a thankless job. And like, you look at the United game there over the weekend, like, and Mbeumo was only short of catching the ball.
Yep.
For Cunha's goal.
Pretty much, yeah.
And even with VAR and everything else, it still was the wrong decision in the end.
Yeah.
And I was actually watching the overlap earlier, and Roy Keane was rattling off stats saying that VAR have concluded that they've gotten 24 decisions wrong this season.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a huge number.
Yeah.
Like, in the context of things, considering it's supposed to rule out human error. But it's obviously, even with the addition of VAR, it's still subjective. So when a referee makes those calls, it can be either on the right side or the wrong side.
Yeah.
But somebody's not going to be happy with the decision you made, which goes back to the point they made earlier. So before we get too deep into it, you might just read out a sample of some of the comments just to...
Yeah, I'll go through some. There's too many to kind of... Because usually if people interact with us, we give them a shout out on here, but we just had... It just blew up and there was so
absolutely
many comments.
Exploded, yeah.
I'll run through some of them and kind of give an idea as to what kind of thing we're looking at. Like simple ones there. Standard referees in line with the standard of football, which is an interesting take because it's amateur football. I get it. The referees are all
amateur.
Yeah. However, you would expect certain kind of standard of...
Yes. Well, it ties back into what I was saying last week, right? So there's one thing getting people to sign up and offering free referee courses. There has to be a level of support and training there.
Yeah.
So you can't just sign them up and throw them into games. You have to take them through a certain standard of training. Then they have to be evaluated on the performances.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, it's kind of like a quality check. They have to be evaluated. They have to be looked at. The ones that show promise, the ones that are doing well, they can be promoted, moved up to a higher standard, so on and so forth. And you walk your way up the level. But it can't be just, you've refereed 20 games now. You get to go from Division 6 to Major. Okay, you've done 20 games in Major. Next season, we're going to put you up to Premier. Who is actually checking that quality? It's not just about games under the belt. It's about the quality of the refereeing within those games.
100%.
So I'm not sitting here trying to say that the referees need to be scrutinised, but they need to be trained. They need to be developed. And they need to be brought up. So going back to that comment where the quality matches the quality of the football or the level of the football, whatever it might be.
That's not necessarily always true.
No, but I would argue that it probably is in 90% of the case, because let's take underage level. For most of the divisions, for all of the divisions, all the way up until say under 12s, where it becomes competitive, you don't necessarily need a referee in attendance. It was like I'd said before. Sometimes at that age group, you find managers taking turns, doing a half each, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that again comes down to the lack of referees as well.
Yeah, which we spoke about last week. Um,
So you nearly want, because I know they have a junior referee program, so you nearly want them coming in early doors, looking after the younger age groups, developing through the younger age groups from 5 aside to 7 aside to 9 aside and up. And as they're doing that, and as they're getting more training and getting games under the belt and building that experience, they move into, let's say, the more teenage years, your 13s, your 14s. And by that stage, they have a couple of years under the belt. They might be ready for 14s or 14s Premier game,
yeah,
or a cup final or whatever it might be. But you've built them up over a number of years. You've taken them through. They're nearly developing alongside the players. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I think they constantly need training. But it's about getting first and foremost, it's about getting the numbers in the door, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just to go through here and just call out a couple of more of the comments. Another one we had here, Gavin, was found it fairly interesting. He's like, comes from Molly's Football World on TikTok as well. He says, when you have refs hugging managers before games and then blatantly giving decisions against you, it's very worrying.
Yeah. And we touched on this as well last week, where we were saying a lot of the referees that you'll probably end up having will be local referees.
Yeah.
And they might be there for 3 or 4 games at a time,
Yeah.
sort of working for the same club for that week. So there is that familiarity as well.
I suppose what's going to happen there as well, Gav, that could be a case where a ref has pulled out and the
Yeah.
club have had to source a ref last minute. So I mean, I'm not saying this is the case or not the case or whatever, but that could be literally like, oh, jeez, thanks for sorting this out, mate. And they're probably familiar with each other.
Yeah.
Little hug.
Like
Thanks.
at that level, you don't have the luxury of, doing background checks and seeing who knows who and what area they grew
No.
up in and that sort of stuff. You don't. But
As we
in
said,
saying that, coming back to the quality of the referee and having the professionalism not to be showing favoritism,
yeah,
I think is very important. You know what I mean? Taking the job seriously, being professional about it, letting the people on the sideline, regardless of whether you know them outside the realms of football, that you're going to ref this game to your best ability and not show any favoritism. And it doesn't always happen, and I think that's a shocking case if that's some of the stuff that's going on. I've never seen it, but
you can't rule it out.
I can't. Yeah,
You
couldn't rule it out. No, I'd imagine it does go on, but it's it's shocking stuff altogether.
Another one here from Dean Brennan, 871. He says, I'm a grassroots referee and have been for 15 years. The standard in all leagues has been quite high. If anything, it's improved with the National Referee Development Plan. In my view, the sidelines, the parents, and the players' attitudes towards officials is the worst it's probably ever been.
I would say there's some truth in that, insofar as the sideline antics.
Okay.
I'd say, like, I don't know about you, when I was playing football as a kid, you never really, like, on your general league matches, you never got too many people on the sidelines. If you made it to a final, yeah, all the parents would show up and everything else, but like they wouldn't be there at every game. It's not like now where you're nearly playing to a full crowd at most games, because parents these days go to every game, and that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong or anything else. I go to my other son's game that I don't coach. I go to all his games. I'm on the sideline. I'm giving me 2 cents on the sideline. Now, I've never given out to a referee, but you do see it all the time. I think it's just the culture of football in general. So this is why I keep going back to it. But who would want to be a referee? Because that is the culture, and there's more people invested in their kids' football and just in sport in general. Like kids parents, I should say, these days are more supportive than they've ever been in terms of sports and everything else. Now they're showing up and they're standing there and they're watching training.
Yeah.
Never mind the.
Unfortunately, some of them are too involved.
But
Too
you're always going to
supportive.
get that.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the beast, But this is why I'm saying you really have to. You really have to dress up the position of a referee and sell it. I was talking to a mate of mine, who's good friends with a referee, who's gone right through the system in Ireland, got their badges, refereed at underage, at international level, this type of thing. So there's clearly a platform there, but I think you probably only understand what that platform is and what that journey looks like if you're in the world of refereeing.
Yeah.
I think what the powers that be, the likes of the FAI and that have to do is they have to show that pathway to a wider audience and say, look, this was what your journey could look like. The sky's the limit. You could referee on the top stage. We'll assist you getting through all your refereeing badges. And you can start off in your local park, refereeing some of your local clubs,
And you'd
and work your way all the way up to the League of Ireland, to the Premier League, to the Champions League, to the World Cup, European Cup, whatever it might be. But sell them the pathway. Sell them the bigger picture. Don't just sell them.
You mentioned this last week. You were saying, you do the advertising campaigns and you do it that way.
Yeah. But I think there has to be substance then behind it. It's more than just getting them in the door. That's stage one. That's stage one. I think as important as the quantity is in terms of the number of referees, we talked about the DDSL highlighting the deficit of referees.
Yeah.
But also the quality has to be there. So getting them in the door is stage one. Stage two is getting them up to scratch. Now, Dean Brennan, was it, that commented there? He's in that world, so he would know better than we do about the quality and the standard of refereeing. And as I said, anybody who is on a sideline, whether as a coach or a spectator, supporting football, is going to disagree with the ref a couple of times again.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've seen it right up to the highest level, whether it's Champions League, whether it's League of Ireland, whatever it might be. At the top level, the refs still get it wrong, even when they've got VAR and they've got fourth officials and everything else. It's a thankless job. Dean is saying there that the quality is better. He's been around a long time and he's involved in it. So from his point of view, the quality has improved.
Yep.
And maybe that's the case, but it's difficult to see it. This is what I'm saying. Your average Joe Soap who's involved in football doesn't see the work that goes in behind what Dean's doing as a referee. We don't see his journey. We don't understand that process. We know what the journey is like in football. We know how you progress, how you go through academies, how you go on trials and all that sort of stuff and work your way up. We don't know what that looks like for a referee. So maybe the lack of understanding is where maybe the lack of respect comes from.
This is where we need to get a referee on the podcast.
Exactly. So we're gonna explore that avenue in terms of actually having a referee on and giving their 2 cents and
getting their perspective on it and getting their insight that we don't have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just
another one here comes from Herbie23. It's a bit of a long post, but there was a point in it that I think I found interesting. He says, I've been a basketball ref since I was 16. All GAA code since I was 30. Lately, because my son's involved in rugby, I've done a bit there as well. I was often asked to try soccer, but said no. My reasons are the verbal abuse from players and parents. He goes on to make a further point there as well. He talks about players thinking they're superstars and blah blah blah. It's just another perspective. There's a few different perspectives in this thread. I'm just trying to pick some out there, and that's someone being put off refereeing from the abuse they get.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So it is the culture in football, and it has been for decades.
Yeah,
that it's a free for all when it comes to abusing the refs. From every level, from your Sunday league to your professional leagues, referees get abused from the sideline. It's always the way. You look at rugby, when they're taking the conversion or a kick, complete silence in the crowd
Yeah, it's a different level of respect for
for
what's going on.
a game that's essentially like a lot more barbaric, you would say, than football. The level of respect shown towards the referee, like the referee will only speak to the captains.
Yeah.
He explains everything. He's mic'd up. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get that in the amateur game, but
Mm.
I think the FAI, I think football in general needs to look at how they can change that culture
Yeah.
surrounding the referees. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
No,
That takes a major shift for people to move away from that, and I don't think it's going to
that's a
happen
culture
anytime
change.
soon.
That's a
It's
culture change, and
huge. It's
yeah.
huge. So
That,
that's also part of what needs to happen. Look, they've all these great campaigns about soil and sidelines and everything else. In the heat of the moment, it's like a knee jerk reaction for any fan, any coach on the sideline when you feel like you're being robbed in that moment. You feel like this a decision is going against you that's going to potentially cost you a game, cost you points, and it's like a knee jerk reaction. It's what you've grew up on
yeah.
from games that you've gone to, from being a player yourself. That's what you're used to. That's that's what you came up with.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to shift that mentality. It's what you know.
Yeah, it's ingrained. It's ingrained, and it takes a lot of work to get that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, just we just wanted to share it out. We're going back over the referee issue again here, and we spoke about it last week, but I didn't want to have all that interaction with people listening to the podcast and not shout out some of it and give an idea as to what people were saying.
It's good, and I'd definitely like to go down the avenue of having a ref on to chat with us.
Yeah, 100%. And maybe that is, as we said, we're going to be taking a seasonal break
Yeah,
soon, but maybe that will be one of the things
we'll get that
we lead back.
organised. We'll get that organised during pre-season.
With user engagement in mind, Gav.
Yep.
Another message came in to me through the DMs this week from Pat Lynch.
Pat Lynch sliding into the DMs.
Pat Lynch sliding into the DMs. So shout
Go
out
on
to
the
Pat
Pat.
Lynch there. They ask about strength and conditioning in the amateur game and the importance of it.
Yeah.
So basically, is it a vital component in the amateur game? And they actually mention about kids football as well and strength and conditioning. Now I know you actually have a bit of a background in personal training as well.
Yep. I do.
So I think you're well placed to speak about this, being a coach and a PT.
Yep. So it's important to when we say the amateur game, if you're looking at senior level, definitely strength and conditioning is important. I spoke about being at that Finglas game against Bray yesterday evening.
Yeah.
And the pace at which that game was played, the intensity levels, you have to be at peak performance to do that twice a week.
100%.
You know what I mean? You have to be.
There is no way Finglas would have been able to hold their own so long
No.
in that competition, never mind in that game.
No. When you get to that level and the top end of the amateur game in this country, you need to be at peak performance because fitness and pace and energy, huge role.
100% it is.
There's every team's looking for an edge.
Yeah.
Every team and I think the perfect edge, the perfect equalizer is fitness. Like if you can get in there, get a good preseason in and maintain that. I'd say a lot of the lads, because you might train twice a week and your game at the weekend or whatever it might be, or you might only train once a week because you've 2 games that week, whatever way it might fall. That in itself won't be enough to give you that edge.
Yeah.
So you have to get your extra sessions in. You have to look at body composition in terms of, your body fat percentage. Look, I know all the when the lads come back from pre-season, they all get measured. They all have a certain time frame to get down within certain parameters in terms of body fat. They're going to be checking, the distance covered, time taken for distance covered, your speed ratings, your pace, all that sort of stuff comes into it. And that's at amateur level.
Yeah.
But you have to be at that level to compete because everybody's doing it. So
Everybody's doing
it's
it.
vitally important. It's not a case where it's a new thing and
No.
people are testing the waters with it to get the edge.
I think if anything,
If
these days,
you don't do it, you'll struggle.
Yeah.
So you have to do it at the very top level. I'd say in terms of like schoolboys and girls, probably doesn't need to come into play until they kind of reach adolescence.
but what I have in there is you're still dealing with developing bodies.
Yeah.
So,
So like you can do strength and conditioning. People might think strength and conditioning is lifting weights.
yeah,
And maybe when they look at high rocks, they think that's what it is. It's not that. It doesn't have to be that. It can be resistance bands. It could be body weight. It could be you can do squats. You can do press ups. You can do as I said, the resistance bands. Running with resistance, you build up the strength in the legs, building up those muscles. You do it gradually. You do it safely. But it's. I think probably at the level that I'm coaching at, it's not necessarily probably because of their age. Maybe it's something that we'll look at next season. But again, like I've lads then who play GA and soccer.
Yeah.
And a lot of coaches will understand this as well, where you might have lads who play GA and soccer alternate days, so they could be training and playing matches 6 days a week. You can't be thrown in strength and conditioning.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Can't be thrown in strength and conditioning. They need rest as well. So rest is just as important.
It's gonna get hurt.
Yeah. So a lot of teams will probably focus on fitness early doors, but I think particularly at the younger age groups, coming out of the academy and right up until under 12s or sort of maybe into under 14s, they need the football at their feet.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
And that's what they're trying to teach. You're trying to teach them to play football.
Football at their feet. You want them to encourage them getting out and playing on the road, and because they learn so much. You've only got 2 hours with them a week.
Yeah.
So they need to be getting out on the road. They need to be playing with their mates. They need to be kicking a ball off a path, or kicking her off a wall, or kicking her off a tree, and getting the touch. And they don't even realise they're doing it. But you're developing your touch. You're developing your control. Just those little things that the pitch doesn't give you, or the training session won't give you.
And as you say, 2 hours a week, not going to give it to
you.
You.
2 hours a week's not going to cut it. But there's definitely, I would definitely say it's a positive thing to be doing once it's done right and once it's done safely throughout the age groups, because adolescents, particularly like boys, will sort of grow, particularly between the ages of say 12 and 19, when they stop growing. Like there's no clear path in terms of growth for any players in terms of size or build or anything like that. So it has to be kind of tailored to them. It has to be a level of progression there, and done safely. And look, it does be most of the time, because they'll be brought down to a PT, and a PT might host a class for the team themselves, and they might do that twice a week for 4 weeks as part of their preseason or whatever it might be. So absolutely, I think it's important. I think it's a great way to get an edge. I think it's a great way to encourage good habits for the lads. Get them introduced, and girls, get them introduced to fitness at an early age. You might develop a passion there for it. Even if the football doesn't go the way they want it to go, they might find an avenue just in fitness. They might just pick up a love for it.
Yeah,
there could be a strength and conditioning coach for it.
Could be a career in football outside of playing. So it is. That's a good point actually you make about like what it could lead you down, a path could lead you down.
Yeah, you see how important it is, even in terms of recovery from players when they get injured.
Yeah.
To do strength and conditioning, to build up those muscles around an area where they might have picked up an injury. You see lads coming back from ACLs and MCLs, and having to build up slowly the muscles around it, tissue around it. Strength and conditioning plays a huge part, even in the amateur game, across all levels. I think it probably doesn't become important until kids reach kind of adolescence, and then I think it becomes more of a thing. But look, up until that point, you can still do it, but it just has to be
It
done,
has to be managed. Has
managed,
to be managed.
and
Yeah.
safely. And you know, you have to, as a coach, you have to take into consideration what your team are doing outside of those 2 hours that you have them. So, like that, if you've got lads who are playing, training Monday, Wednesday, match Saturday, then they're with you Tuesday, Thursday, match Sunday, or whatever it might be. The only day off is Friday, and you're trying to get them down to the gym to do strength and conditioning or whatever. It's too much.
It's too much. Yeah.
It's too
Yeah.
much. So you have to be careful there. But
I suppose
up until adolescence, my philosophy would be ball at the feet, get them out playing, because kids don't play football anymore like they used to. I mean, especially like, I know the weather's crap at the moment, but when the summer used to come in, you weren't coming in till the street lights came on,
you
and
were
you were using trees as goalposts.
Yeah.
You know, you were playing against the green box.
It's not like that anymore. You take a look out on the street now, even on a nice day. Now, where I am anyway, I don't see kids out.
No,
just don't see it.
No, but I think that's
Yeah.
at that age, that's equally as important. But
just in terms of the adult side of the game or the senior side of the game, with the strength and conditioning, I think in the age we're in now, like the kind of time we're in now, people are more aware of their health and their fitness now than I think, say, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a good thing.
But I even see it now, even watching the likes of the Leinster Senior League. There's lads who are mid-30s and they're still fit as a fiddle.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're still, because they take such good care of themselves. They understand the fitness side of it. I mean, we're bombarded with it, I think, on social media and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's definitely a lot more understanding, even in terms of, you know, strength and conditioning is one side of it, but the nutritional side of it.
That's the other side. You're right there, actually.
You know, in terms of what they should be eating pre and post match, what they're, you know, prepping their meals throughout the week and stuff. Like, I can imagine, like, the lads, even like the lads in the higher academies are probably taught this stuff as they come through. Like, I remember being on trials for Dublin and GA, and had a nutritionist come in and talking about the importance of protein, and hadn't a clue. Like, it was like 13, 14, and talking about, you know, where you get your protein from and all this sort of stuff. And that was like,
the last thing on your mind was chicken fillet is going to help me muscles.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know? I used to think drinking Sunny D was healthy. I thought healthy was eating a bowl of Special K.
Yeah, veg and all. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what I thought was healthy. But
it's a different way of thinking, isn't it, as well now?
Yeah. So I think people are definitely more aware of the importance of good nutrition and training. And I think at the higher, at the top end of the amateur game, now look, it could be a lot further than that, but those that take their football and seriously would probably be doing their own bit outside. And even when it comes to pre-season, they'll probably get themselves down the gym, or they'll probably sign up for a high rocks, or they'll probably, you know, sign up to a running club or whatever, just to keep those levels up. Because pre-season, although it's, you know, you'll get a bit of time for rest and you'll get to go on your holiday and do whatever, they don't want the drop off to be so big that they have to do so much work when they come back. And the danger of doing that as well is that you pick up an injury coming back when when you've taken that rest and you've maybe put on a bit more weight, and you've gone from training flat out to nothing for a couple of weeks, and then you think you're going to pick up where you left off, and it's not there, because
doesn't happen.
You know, you have to keep it running like a well-oiled machine. You know, you give yourself that rest. Rest is just as important. Sleep, hydration, all these things. But players at the amateur level, they know this stuff now.
Yeah,
you know, and a lot of it, I'd imagine, by clubs as well, is probably put back on them, because, you know, you can't be giving these lads chefs and preparing the meals and all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can give them the information, but it's up to them then to take the responsibility and do that. And I think that definitely the lads at the top, and as I said, looking at that game last night and looking at the Leinster Senior League, over the last couple of months, the games that we've been at, the games we covered, even the
The
LFA and
I was just about
the
to
Leinster
mention that.
Senior League games, like the pace at which those games are played, and the fitness levels and the energy levels, and some of the speed of the lads out there, like they are finely tuned athletes. Do
Head
you know
over
what I
to
mean? Then
head over to anygames.ie on
on YouTube,
YouTube, and
yeah,
you can see
check it out for
you can
yourself.
see some of the highlights over there.
Yeah,
You can see it, like some of the, as you said, some of the pace, some of the strength you see in those games
yeah,
is it's immense. Like it's near top level.
yeah, and like even I mentioned there, Bray young side, but they're coming out and they're already jacked, they're
Yeah,
already
yeah,
ripped, they already look like professional footballers.
mm,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
They're ready to go.
They're ready to go. Like
Yeah.
so, that's what I'm saying. They're being taught this stuff early doors,
Mm.
and they're going away and they're doing their own bit of research, because ultimately their goal is to get to the very top, and they're trying to find the age as well. So staying fit and doing the extra bits and getting the nutrition right, absolutely 100%. It's all a part of it.
It's all part of it. And then you have the other end of the spectrum, the lads who strength and conditioning is lifting a point the night before a game and showing up
Yeah,
still twisted.
those days will never be gone. There'll
No,
always be
no.
a market for that side of the game, Dave.
Yeah, that's
Can't knock it.
no. There's something to be had, something to be said now.
Absolutely.
So, Gav, we'll move on to in the news now in a sec. But just before we do, I've just gotten a live question from listener Michael O'Keefe. Shout out, Michael. He says, now that the league's done, would you rather see Arsenal win the Champions League or see Tottenham get relegated? And as difficult as it is for me to not look at Tottenham in the Championship next year, I would have to say Champions League. But
It's a very close second.
a very good consolation prize to the Champions League would be a Tottenham relegation.
The question you should be putting back to Michael is, why can't I have both?
Yeah, I want it all. I want it all. That's a treble.
That's a treble season.
That's a treble. That's a treble. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, Champions League.
I don't know if we spoke about it last week, Dave, but what do you think Arsenal's chances of winning the Champions League are?
Look,
in a one-off game?
PSG are strong favourites, right?
Yeah.
But in a 90-minute game of football, anything can happen. You know, and the way I think PSG will win it, but look, I'm gonna put my fan hat on and say I have a bit of hope that we can do something in it. You know, I've been saying all along that I wanted the Premier League this season, and that's the most important thing.
And that's in the bag now.
And that's in the bag. Now we can think about the Champions League final, and we win it. It's a bonus. It'd be a nice bonus. Subsequently, speaking of the Champions League final, my daughter has a music showcase in the music school she's in, and she's been selected as band leader and all of that. And so they're playing a song on the showcase on the 30th of May.
And you've nothing else going on that evening, no?
No. Luckily, the Champions League final is on at 5:00.
Yes. And what time does the show start?
I think it's like 7. So it's, it's tight. If it goes to extra time in Pennos, I'm fucked.
You'll be skipping and dancing along and everything, or else you'll be the guy who's crying in the back.
Where it's on, the venue it's on, there's a nice little pub just across the road.
Oh yeah, so you'll be dipping in and out.
Might do.
Asking the miss to text you when she comes on the stage.
No, I don't know. I'll be there. Look, it's an important event for the young ones, so I will definitely be cheering her on more than I will be cheering.
You might you might already be celebrating Arsenal at that stage.
Might well do. Look, it is one of those. It's just a funny coincidence that it fell on that date, and I'll probably still get the game in. But look, these things happen, and family is more important.
Do you think now that you are crowned the champions of England, that weight, that burden, that pressure has been lifted?
I think so. I think you might see a freer Arsenal next season in the Premier League. I'd like to think so.
Do you think Arteta goes with a second string team now against Palace?
Maybe, or you'll see early changes. He might lead out with the.
There's no point in taking any risks, is there?
No,
really?
Definitely not. Like, I do want to see certain players rested. I'd like to see Declan Rice, maybe
Saka.
See, it's hard to say because these players are going to want to play the game.
Yeah.
and play in the game in which they lift the trophy.
Yeah.
You know, you hear people like Roy Keane talk about not playing in the Champions League final and stuff like that, and how it didn't feel
Like he won it.
like he won it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Now, I think it's different when it comes to the league because everybody has played that part.
Yeah, it's not based off the final game.
Yeah. But I suppose moving on to our in the news, Gav,
Yes.
biggest one this week, I think, is
Aside from Arsenal winning the Premier League.
aside from Arsenal winning the Premier League, I suppose, in terms of football news, is the heavy rumours. You want to even call them rumours at this point that Pep Guardiola is going to be stepping down?
Yeah, well, we're calling them rumours at the minute, but it's the top sources that are reporting it.
Yeah. You're talking
And
David
they're already reporting Pep's replacement, and they're already reporting that Pep was annoyed at the timing of the news breaking. So with all that being said, it's pretty much concrete that Pep is going to leave now, and that the weekend will be his final as City manager. That's what we're expecting, and that Maresca is going to take over for next season. So there's a couple of things there. I think we should first acknowledge the job that Pep has done.
Yeah.
20 trophies over the course of 9-10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I think every fan of every other team bar Man City will be looking at that going, lovely.
thank God.
Thank God he's finally gone.
Yeah.
Now the rest of us have a chance. And it's funny that he's going out without a league title. You know, as much as it pains me to say this, I think for the job that he's done at City, I think it would have been nice for him to go out. Look, they've won the League Cup, they've won the FA Cup.
Champions League. Oh, sorry.
It probably would have been nice for him to go out on a high and have won the league at least.
Won the league.
I
get that. I don't care.
No, I'm speaking in general football terms here.
And look, what I will say is,
take me United hat off for a minute.
What I will say is, right, I've no love for Man City and the way they've gotten to where they are.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola has played a big role in getting them that far, and none of my animosity goes towards him.
No, I think his character, his presence will be missed in the Premier League.
I think so. Look, he is arguably the best manager the league's seen. Arguably. I mean,
since Fergie. Yeah.
You know, I've heard people arguing the toss that he is the best and whatever, and it's a conversation for another day, but I think Ferguson done something different at United than Pep did at City. I mean, the unlimited funds, the cheat code, basically. You know.
Now, you could argue that United had unlimited funds for a period there as well. There's always that argument to be made. What I would say is that the timing of it, I don't think anybody expected him to stay as long as he did, because he didn't put that time into Barca, he didn't put that time into Bayern.
No, and there was always that sense of Pep gets bored, wins loads, and moves on.
Yeah, but he seemed to really embrace Manchester as a city.
Yeah.
He was very much... He was obviously given an awful lot of control, considering the amount of money that's in that club and the amount of money that gets spent. He was obviously given a lot of control in terms of the players, the recruitment, players leaving, moving on. I mean, the amount of top quality players that have also left that club, never mind come into it, but left. Like, you look at the likes of Leroy Sané or Alvarez or Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
There's a long list of players that Pep didn't fancy that moved on, where at other clubs you might go, yeah, you're not getting rid of him. Do you know what I mean? So he was obviously given a lot of power, but
he earned that right as well.
But he also rewarded that with trophies and backed it up.
That's true,
and
as well.
Particularly, obviously, with the treble winning season and everything else.
Yeah.
So his accomplishments speak for themselves. What he brought to the league, not only in terms of how Man City played, the competitions that they won, you know, the way they elevated the likes of a Liverpool, you know,
Yeah,
kept Liverpool on their toes, getting to nearly 100 points and still not winning the league
yeah. I
that
mean,
season. You know what I mean? They really, like, they brought a lot to the league. Now, a lot, like you kind of touched on it then in terms of the budget and the amount of money that they spend and
the charges.
the charges and everything else, but you can't hold that against Pep. You can't hold that against the
No,
players
no,
that are out on the pitch. They still have to go out. They still have to do their job. So
no.
whatever
Anything that's
whatever charges come City way and whatever they're charged with, it's unlikely that they're going to be directed at players or
anything that's tainted, it's to do with the club. It's nothing to do with the individuals, who played or managed the
no. It's the
team.
it's the powers that be that are pushing the money around.
Yeah,
So I wonder the timing of it as well because he seems to have brought City into another evolution. He
yeah,
seems to be coming like he's after developing that and almost prematurely fighting for the title this season.
yeah. You could argue that, Ari. That being said, now with him stepping aside, it's almost like they have to go again.
Well, it will be like very big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Which leads on to our next question: is Maresca the one to fill them?
Probably not. But when you see historically big managers stepping aside at a club who have been the legacy of that club, the next guy in is never the guy.
No.
You know.
Look at United. The next six
yeah.
haven't been the guy.
Arsenal, Unai Emery is a very good coach.
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
No,
It just didn't work.
wasn't a fit.
It never seems to work. David Moyes coming in straight after Ferguson. Moyes is a great coach.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work.
No.
I don't think it ever worked. So
I think the difference with Moyes coming in, let's say after Fergie, in comparison to the Maresca coming in for Pep, when Moyes took over, not only was Fergie stepping down, a lot of the lads were at the end of their career.
yeah.
Your Rooney's, your Ferdinands, that sort of stuff. Like there was a couple of lads there who were getting to it, like the likes of Neville and stuff. There was a couple of lads who were literally
Mm.
coming towards the end.
It was
Where
like the end of a whole era at United.
yeah, it needed an overhaul.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Moyes came in when he did, and it's been spoken about, and Moyes has spoken about it, and everything else, that he was trying to do it all as quick as he could, and kind of nearly tell the old guard, you're no longer required, your services are no longer required.
Yeah.
Where Maresca is coming in at a time where John Stones is already leaving, Bernardo Silva is already leaving. These players are already going. They're already on the way out the door.
Yeah.
And now you're going in where you've got Nico O'Reilly, you've got Cherky who's only in there, Semenyo. They're all still young. You're Phil Fodens.
Yeah.
They're all still young. There's nobody really that we can think of.
The foundation's there.
But you've got the senior heads there are in their prime.
Yeah.
So you've got prime Haaland, you've got prime Rodri, you've got the likes of like that. They're still kind of walking out that back forward, like the prime Donnarumma. Like you've got figureheads in there that are nearly going to control the dressing room for you, set the tone in the dressing room.
Some of the leaders that have been there under Pep.
Yeah, but they've got plenty left in the tank, and they've got loads to offer you for years to come. So you're not going in there with a full clean slate.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably, like, time will tell, but I think it's probably an easier task.
Yeah, what I'd say is I don't think City are going away just because Pep's leaving.
No, this is what I'm saying. This was kind of how I came to this point. A lot of fans from the rest of the clubs will be looking at that going, thank God Pep is gone. But you kind of have to be wary.
They won their first league title without Pep.
Yeah.
So
it'll make for a very interesting season next season, because
next season looks really interesting.
It looks interesting, right? Because it kind of touches on the next in the news story, which is Alonso has been announced as the new Chelsea coach.
Mhm.
Right? When I say coach, he's not actually the coach; he's the manager.
He is the manager.
Right? And I specify that because most coaches that go in there now, it's specified that they are head coach.
Yeah.
They're not the manager.
It's
where it's been very specific that Alonso's been given this title.
And I'd say that was on his side. I'd
Yeah.
say he was like, I'm not taking that job unless I'm the manager.
Yeah.
Which means gives him more control.
Yeah.
Which means you might see a steadying of the ship at Chelsea. To say, like, they've been a bit of a mess.
They've been a bit of a mess, but it's mostly down to the ownership and recruitment because they went flat to the mat on this this ideology of buy young, buy them all, and they, like we've spoken about it before, they've gotten winger after winger after, like all the players that they brought in are nearly the same profile.
And they churn them out and they sell them on,
and it's almost like who's available, who's hot right now.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
There was a little bit of a strategy of who are the opposition interested in, or we'll sign them.
Yeah,
you know, like,
7-year contracts.
Yeah,
let's push this problem down the road. And they ended up sent loads of them out on loan. It got to the stage where like you were looking at Chelsea and you didn't know half the players, and then you didn't see them again.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Do you know what I mean? So I think Alonso has to go in now, steady the ship, and if his role is in fact manager and he has a say, he's got a summer now to go in and go, we need to clear out. Like Garnacho's doing nothing, get rid of him or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Like key priority, tie down Enzo Fernandez. I scored a screamer actually this evening.
I quite like the appointment from Chelsea. Not as a Arsenal fan looking at Chelsea as a rival.
Yeah.
But if you'd ask me what I think of it as a coach being hired, it's a great appointment.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the kind of top coaches in the game at the minute.
I wonder now if him specifying that he wants the manager's role as opposed to a head coach, and the fact that there's so few top quality managers out there and available, and nearly everybody is looking for a top quality coach, will this be the catalyst now for coaches going in and demanding the manager's role?
Probably. You're looking now, that's two coaches / managers, two people in the league now who are the manager, and it's Arteta and Alonso.
Yeah. Because that used to be always the way.
It was you were the manager most of the time.
Yeah, and then this culture of head coach, and we've got sporting directors, and they do all the transfer and the wheeling and dealing.
It doesn't work. It does. It can work.
It works if it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what Edu and Arteta had for a while.
For a little bit, and then whatever happened there, I don't know.
He went to Forest, didn't he?
He went to Forest, but I just get the feeling something wasn't right.
Yeah, something must have happened in the background.
Yeah, maybe it was to do with Arteta being the manager.
Yeah,
I don't know. But interesting times. I would say Chelsea fans are feeling good about that.
I would say so. I would say it's a shrewd appointment. I'd say Liverpool fans are probably a bit bitter about it because
they would have wanted Alonso.
And I also get the feeling that not a lot of them want Arne Slot.
I'd say a lot less want Arne Slot now to when we started this podcast.
Just staying with Liverpool then, also in the news was this week was a controversial tweet by Mo Salah. Essentially, on his way out the door, I think it was described by Jamie Carragher, was walking out the door and throwing a grenade back in behind you.
Maybe.
Essentially saying that Liverpool need to go back to the way they played football, i.e. under Klopp, and move away from whatever shit they've been playing this season.
He used the term heavy metal football.
Yeah.
Which was a direct reference to Jurgen Klopp.
Exactly, yeah. So it's basically we need to stop playing the way that this manager's playing, and it was a dig at Arne Slot, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, you're already on your way out the door. Like, what do you...
Do you know what?
Because you don't... Like, did he not learn anything from Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan? Like, such tripe. Like, I'll always like Ronaldo for everything he did for United, both times around.
Yeah.
For the player that he was at Real Madrid, top class. But that does kind of tarnish your reputation. That kind of carry on the way out.
It does. It does.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't like it. Just keep your mouth shut and leave.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what he's achieving by.
Just show a bit of class. Just
Yeah.
walk out. Like if you have it, if when your career is finished and you're asked about it and you're on a podcast, maybe you're on anygames.ie, you're talking to Gavin Dave, and we put the question to you. Tell us about that time with Arnie Slot when he's had a fall now. And he turns around then and says, I wanted to go back to playing heavy metal football. The way we were playing wasn't working anymore. We should have never sold Diaz. We should have never sold Mane. We should have never, whatever. Give his 2 cents on it. The way we were set up to play Jurgen Klopp football. Arnie Slot moved away from that and it didn't suit and it wasn't working and we should have went back and I should have had more game time and blah, blah, blah.
I think it speaks to, right, we discussed Mo Salah a lot during the first 30 episodes of this podcast.
Yeah.
We're on 30 now. And we were talking early on about, jeez, what's wrong with Mo Salah? He's just not right. He's not right. Now it seems like he's been throwing his fucking toys out of the pram all season.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like how they're playing football and he wasn't willing to get on board with what Slot was doing. And it probably speaks to Liverpool's form. There's obviously a rift in the camp. Things obviously aren't fucking rosy.
What was interesting as well is current Liverpool players putting up reactions to his post. So I think Curtis Jones put up the clapping hands emoji.
Okay, that's not good, is it?
So you're going in, if one game left this season, you're not, I was going to say you're not playing for anything, but like you'd be lucky to hang on to your, like to Champions League football now.
Do you know what, Gav? It sounds like a mutiny. Like, it sounds like a coup. Like they're trying to force the hand here and say, so Mo Salah puts this statement out. He's like, right, I'm going to put this statement out. I'm out the door anyway. And then, like you say, you have people sending clapping emojis and stuff like that. Nearly makes the manager's job untenable. And the club have to react. It's like, well, we've fucking lost the players here. We have to do something.
It's a very dramatic turnaround from this time last year when Liverpool won the league under Arnie Slot in his first season as Liverpool manager.
Yeah.
Mo Salah potentially had the season of his career.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't get off to a good start, and before the season started we were looking at Liverpool spending $500 million.
We both put Liverpool as favourites at the start of the season.
Everybody did.
Yeah.
If you're Premier League champions and you double down, go out and spend 500 million and buy the best striker in the league or the second best striker in the league, and you get the best player in the German league and the best fullback in the Premier League or the most up and coming, the youth, the most promising, and you strengthen and you're looking at it going, we're in trouble here because nobody's spending money like Liverpool and they've already gone and won the league. Everybody else is going to struggle.
Yeah.
And it went the opposite way. And now you find yourself a year later where your talisman for the last couple of seasons is heading for the exit door, but he's throwing shade on everybody on his way out.
There's a real scenario there where they could find themselves not even qualifying for Champions League.
This is what I mean. Like, so, like, if like Jamie Carragher referred to it as Salah looking after Salah FC, not Liverpool FC.
I agree with it. I'd love to know what Liverpool fans think, because I came into a bit of criticism for something I said about Liverpool. They won't miss Mo Salah once he's gone. No, I meant that in terms of he hasn't been the Mo Salah
this season anyway. No,
I meant it on the pitch.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily mean around the club, but now I think the dynamics changed there, and I don't think he'd be fucking missed whatsoever.
No, because that sort of stuff should be dealt with in house, and it should be nipped in the bud early doors. It shouldn't be allowed to drag on. It was an absolute circus when he wasn't playing. Still getting started. Then he goes and puts him on the bench. then there was the whole thing that happened during that time, and it wasn't about the football anymore.
No.
It was just a circus, and it was the same.
Reminds me of
It's the same when Ronaldo walked off while the game was still going on, and players were following him, and all that sort of stuff. It just turns into a circus.
it
And
reminds me of Mesut Ozil at Arsenal.
Yeah.
That became toxic as well.
yeah,
You had him putting statements out or comments out every week on social media. And he's a player who's very active on social media.
Aubameyang did something similar as well, did he?
Yeah,
To a lesser extent, maybe.
To a lesser extent. Aubameyang kind of more so done it in house.
Yeah.
Stop performing and not turning up the train and stuff like that. Where Mesut Ozil done it very publicly.
Yeah.
And I think Mesut Ozil's attempts were to try and probably get Arteta out at the time. No, I don't want to go back over all that. That's ancient news at this point.
No, but but we have seen it over the years where it takes one player with sway in the dressing room to turn a dressing room and have a manager sacked.
Yeah.
And this obviously didn't happen in this case, but
and I don't think it will. I think Slot is going to be the manager at the start of next season for Liverpool.
He is. They've already come out and said as much. I don't think that'll change, but it'll be interesting to see if they don't hit the ground running. How long will they give them? Because the fans will want something. They'll want the drastic change. They're at a stage now where they just can't wait for the fucking season to end. That's how they feel.
Yeah.
They just want the over and done with. And
it's been a slog of a season for Liverpool.
I don't think you'll get much grace early doors. Like if they're into September and they're sitting in mid-table.
Yeah, I agree.
Could be
for him to maintain his job, he's going to need to come out of traps.
Yeah. So it's interesting if we're looking ahead to next season with all the managerial changes. Pep leaving, Alonso coming in, Carrick signing for United on a 2-year deal. The transfer market will obviously have a big part to play in it, but that doesn't guarantee anything that we've seen with Liverpool.
No.
So I think it could be very interesting.
Very interesting season.
We could say that at the start of every season, but something feels different this time around. Like Pep leaving is huge.
Yeah, it is. It's seismic, isn't it? Like
I think we might not feel it now, but I think the Alonso appointment at Chelsea could be very big, particularly that, as I said, the managerial title.
Yeah.
As opposed to a head coach. I think that could be the catalyst for more appointments, similar appointments.
Yeah.
Down the line, because I think the pool of top quality managers has gotten so small now, and the demand has increased because managers are just generally getting less time. So there's always a demand for a top quality coach or manager.
Yeah.
So the power is shifting now to the manager, I think.
I think so. I think you're right.
Or to the coach.
It's gone back. It's gone back to. It's funny. It's funny. We talked a bit about football reverting to certain things like set pieces, throw-ins, all of that this season. At a similar time to now, we're reverting to the old model of managers. It's an interesting thing.
Look, I do still think there is room for sporting directors and board members with a footballing background to
work as part of the team.
But it has to be the scene now. It's a collective effort, and you can't just be buying the next shiny superstar and
trying to slot it into a square peg round hole, to use an old cliche.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to make for an interesting.
Yeah.
Like, if you went through the top few, like Unai Emery, good as Aston Villa are, how long are they going to sustain that for? How long are they going to keep getting into this European, the European positions, and then not having the funds to go out and spend, and then not having the squad depth then to compete in Europe and on the domestic front?
Yeah.
And it's costing them, so they're only kind of getting in every second year.
Yeah. It's not,
how long's that going to last with Unai Emery? Like, because, as I said, the pool is so small, and if he's in there, let's say now as a head coach, someone comes knocking next year, is his head going to be turned
Quite possibly.
because Aston Villa can't spend their money, and it's not Aston Villa's fault. It's just the
No.
PFA or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. And then Eddie Howe, is he going to stay at Newcastle? Is he going to?
No, I think Eddie Howe's going to get the sack. I just think.
But he's in a similar position to Unai Emery, where they've done well. They've exhausted their squads to get into Europe.
They have a
They
different
get
problem,
into
though.
Europe and they struggle. And I think it's all catching up on them now because obviously they lost Isak, which was huge, but then the replacements, Voltamada and Wissett and stuff that they
just
brought
weren't.
in.
They weren't.
You make a couple of bad transfers and it sets you back, and that's what happened to Newcastle. It's less on the coach, I think.
I think the worrying thing for Newcastle going into the summer and into next season is I think some of their players are there for the picking this year. The likes of Tonali, Bruno, Gordon.
Yeah, they'll definitely have to do a lot of work to keep the core of what they have there.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be hard. They're going to lose at least one of those three, I think.
I've seen a report, actually, I can't remember the source, but it was saying Newcastle have told United that Tonali will cost them 80 million. So whether that happens or not, we don't know. He's definitely a player on the radar. Elliot Anderson the same. I think they'll be the top two targets, but City are in for Anderson, I believe. I'd love to see us get Lewis Hall for to take anyone off Newcastle. I think he's a top fullback, and I think like Malacia is still hanging around the club, which I can't believe, but I think he'd go in there nicely. He's a very similar style fullback to Luke Shaw, and although Luke Shaw has played a lot of games this season, he can't be relied on for longevity. And I think if you're going to be playing in Europe as well, to have somebody of Lewis Hall's ability, I think it'll pay dividends. They were very good in
just your
Champions League this year.
You talk about Europe there, and just thinking about United, they're going to have to build a little bit of a squad there now.
Yeah, I reckon about 5 or 6 players need to come in.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You
were talking about it actually on the overlap, and I agree with Gary Neville. Probably at least 2 central midfielders and 2 or 3 fullbacks, because like that last year, not fullbacks, defenders in general, they went in last year, said, look, we're not scoring goals. We were relying on Rasmus Højlund for the whole of the season, or Joshua Zirkzee to come on, or before that we had the likes of Weghorst, and we've never really sorted that area out.
Yeah.
Rashford went, Garnacho went, Anthony was gone, thank God. So they went out and they got Mbeumo, they got Sesko, they got Cunha, and that works. They've got Mainu back playing. Casemiro's gone, as we know. Ugarte has to go. He's not good enough for the Premier League. So I think if you get in the likes of an Elliot Anderson or a Tonali, play alongside Kobe, let Bruno continue to do his thing higher up, I think we'd be laughing. But
I still think United have another couple of seasons to go. I think he's got a bit of a shot in the arm this season.
It was a very late shot in the arm.
It was.
That shot in the arm was Michael Carrick, because we were
it was, but if you had a look,
you have to remember we got knocked out by Grimsby, Dave.
I know, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
We had a manager who couldn't lift his head up to watch the penalties against Grimsby.
Yeah, I know.
Like we hit low points in this season.
It didn't look good. I mean, these are a bit.
We were fortunate in that the rest of the league was very inconsistent in their performances. I said it to you. The amount of times we had opportunities to get into the top 4, even after how poor we were under Amram, we had so many opportunities to get into the top 4, and when we didn't, we still had that opportunity next week.
There was a period
and that
of time,
went on for a long time.
There was a period of time, as you say there, where it seemed like nobody wanted to get into that top 4.
No, everybody was fighting against it.
Win
1 week, lose the next, and it was nearly like if you lost, everybody else around you would lose as well. So you'd be grand, and you wouldn't lose any ground.
I just think now I think United are ahead of schedule now. From where you started this season.
Yes, from where we started last season, or like the run of form we found ourselves in at the start of the season, I would say we are now where we had hoped to be at the start of the last season.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know what I mean? So we reached our objective by the end of the season, but just under a new manager in a different.
I look at it and I liken it to it's not exactly the same, but I liken it to the season Arsenal finished second for the first time over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
No one expected us to beat it. It was like, what the fuck at Arsenal? Like, what's after happening here?
How did we get here? Because you
How did we
finished
get here?
eighth.
I
Was
think
it
it
the
was
season
eight the
before?
season before.
Yeah.
Had a terrible run. It was like Mikel Arteta was nearly out of a job, I would say, at one point.
Yeah.
But turn it around, finish second then, and then everybody's like, we're ahead here now. We're ahead of where we are supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, and since then, it's been second, third, second, first, I think.
Yeah.
I think in that time. Which has earned us the title of bottlers. But it's hard to say how many of them we actually bottled in that time, because
You're coming up against great teams, like great Liverpool teams, great City teams, and you were still building. And it's the other side of it as well. Like Arteta has changed what Arsenal looks like.
Yeah,
he tried to be a mini Pep. He tried to play that brand of football for a while.
it didn't work.
Didn't work,
And
and reverted then over the last couple of seasons to strength, power, set pieces. Then this season as well, added that in there.
That was kind of creeping in last season as well, the set piece thing.
Yeah,
But look, I've flip flopped on Arteta many times this season. You know, I think we're after winning the league now, and it's easy for me to say, oh, maybe he should still say. Even though you'll listen back a couple of episodes on this podcast, and I was like, if we finish with nothing this season, he has to go.
Yeah,
I still stand by that. I think if we had won nothing this season, you couldn't justify the football we played for a lot of this season without coming away with a trophy.
Do you think?
Now, look, he's gonna obviously get his new contract now in the summer, and I would just hope that we see a bit more positivity from the team next season, less of these grinding results. Like, it's been a tough watch the last few weeks to watch us stumble over the line's not really the right word, because we'd get our goal and, you know, Arsenal always back themselves to keep a clean sheet. And we proved the time and again that is the case. But it's not easy to watch as a fan.
No, but he has got you over the line. You're after this group of players have won their first Premier League. Major milestone for them and for the club. 22 years since you've won it.
Yeah.
Now that they're not carrying that burden, as I said, going into the Champions League final, you know, they'll be feeling better about it. But going into next season with that gold Premier League crest on the shoulder,
changes things.
They're gonna have that swagger.
Yeah.
They're gonna have that monkey off their back. Do you know what I mean? They're not gonna be carrying that weight of pressure and hope and all of the disappointment that came in the years previous.
Yeah.
That's out the window now.
I agree with that, yeah.
So maybe they can expand
I think
the football past the set pieces, past that rigidity, you know, and allow Saka more freedom, allow Odegaard more freedom, and find that perfect balance between what they were trying to do initially when Odegaard and Saka were playing their best football, even though it didn't always sort of correspond with results.
Yeah.
But you have the players there now, solid defence, great centre-back partnership, top quality goalkeeper. You have a Declan Rice sitting in front of that.
In my opinion, the best centre half pairing in the world, I think.
Yeah, it's like we haven't really spoke about the World Cup coming up, but France and Brazil are probably among the favourites. I'd say probably I'd put France at the top. I tip them as favourites, but a lot of people will have Brazil in there, and you've got Gabriel playing for Brazil, and Martinelli, and you've got Saliba playing for France.
Yeah.
So it just shows what the caliber of players that they are. So yeah, absolutely, they've been absolutely quality.
I agree with pretty much everything you said there. I think Arsenal might look a little bit different next season, and we have to see who gets added in the summer as well. For me, I'm just the massive sigh of relief I have tonight now after.
But that's what I'm saying. What you're feeling, the players are going to feel.
Yeah,
because that weight and the anxiety and the pressure and everything is just gone now. So you can go out now with a bit of swagger, and whatever happens now, you're going into that Champions League final knowing that you've picked up silverware this season.
Yeah, they're the
You've
champions.
picked up.
They're the champions now.
Yeah.
So they can go into that final and say, right, it's kind of nearly. I said it earlier about, for me, how I feel about it. It's a bonus if we win it.
It's a free hit.
Yeah.
There's no if you had a lost that would have been that Champions League would have been the last thing to cling on to, the last bit of hope.
Yeah. For a good season, like
Just to come to have done so well all season, come away with nothing, to have already lost the final, to lose out on the last day of the season, going into that Champions League with the last bit of hope to just rescue something.
Yeah.
Complete mentality switch now. As you said, it's a free hit. You're going in there.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you're going in you're already going in underdogs. So you have to pick up one trophy 1 week. The next week you're going into a Champions League final. No pressure. You're going in as underdogs. Play your game. Enjoy it.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. So I think Arsenal are much better off for City dropping the ball this evening, for not only winning the league but also for your hopes for the Champions League final.
Yeah.
In summary,
we can hope.
Yes.
Did we have any more in the news?
Yes, we did. One last thing. Southampton.
Oh yes. How did I forget that?
Yes, they've been kicked out of the playoffs for Spygate.
They have. Now I have to say, and me and you were kind of speaking about this off recording before we started this evening. I agree with it. I think, lay down the marker.
Yeah, I agree with it. Also, however, I would say this isn't the first time this has happened. Not for Southampton, but just in football in general. I think Leeds were caught doing it a couple of years ago. Other clubs have done it. Slap on the wrist. There's an argument to be made that maybe Southampton would get a retrospective penalty or fine that would carry into next season instead and allow them to continue. I don't know. I don't know if not if the punishment matches the crime and so on, but they deserve to be punished, and I think the EFL need to set down a marker.
There was a bit of arrogance about Southampton in this as well. And I mean from their players as well. Did you see when they scored the goal and there was one of the Southampton players
doing the picture thing,
doing the binoculars thing to the Middlesbrough player?
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck it, that's just justice.
Yeah.
In my eyes, like at the end of the day, I'm a football fan and I love the drama of it all. That's like, do you know what it feels like? The ultimate VAR decision.
Yeah.
It's checking result. Spygate.
Yeah, look, I think they have to. The EFL have to set down a marker, so maybe this is it now, and that'll stop that nonsense.
Hopefully so,
and nip it in the bud, so you won't see it going forward.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're probably like enough is enough, and it was just Southampton's turn. You know, like I don't agree with anything that they did, but I'm saying.
Just so happened to be this time is Southampton. That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's the straw for the EFL.
Yeah,
enough's enough now, and you're the latest one to do it, so you're getting it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So
and you couldn't do it in a more dramatic way.
Yeah,
to set out your stall and say, right, this is what's going to happen. You're out, and we're putting Borough back in.
Yeah,
you know. And look, I think it's the right decision. You should put those lads in charge of the 115 charges for City.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have that decision over the line already.
Absolutely. I think that wraps up in the news. So what we'll do is I don't think will we go through last weekend's results
for the Premier League.
Yeah.
Actually, look, we may as well have a quick look at them. You know,
is there much point now?
No, I don't think there is.
We know Arsenal are going to win. We know Spurs are getting relegated.
Well,
no, it's definitely worth looking at.
You know what? What I will say, the only thing really worth looking, there's a couple of things worth looking at. Maybe we won't go over the weekend just gone, but we'll have a look at the weekend coming up.
Yeah.
Because although the league's been decided, there's still a couple of things still to play for in the
European
league.
places.
European places is
relegation.
very much a thing. So I'll have a look at the league table first, right? Because as it stands, United are finishing third. Arsenal are finishing top, by the way.
You never mentioned that.
Yeah,
Did they win it?
they've won.
No, go away.
Yeah. They.
So did City not win tonight? No.
No, they drew.
Oh, Jesus.
Croupy.
Croupy cough.
Stop. I was thinking more like we'll all be as croupies. Do you know, like me anymore. In.
No.
Anyway,
Stop.
Arsenal won the league, right? City, you're going to finish second.
Yeah, second.
Right.
So they're not going to win it in Pep's last season?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're going to finish second.
Second, okay.
Yeah.
Silver, is it?
Silver.
Okay.
Bernardo
Silver. Nice.
Right, so we go down then, we have Villa in fourth then, right? So this is where things are still to play for, I think.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, I'm right. Because if Liverpool win, they have a better goal difference than Villa, so Liverpool will jump them if Villa don't win on the weekend.
Yes.
Which I don't think they will, because City are going to want to win their last home game of the season and see Pep off, you know.
Yes.
So I think Liverpool...
There's a couple of things happening here, Dave, right? So we said it the other week. Bournemouth, who are playing City today, they want to finish sixth, right? But they also want Liverpool to finish fourth, so that Villa will finish fifth, and then they also want Villa to go out and win the Europa League. Because that will open up sixth place for a Champions
League spot. So they're the permutations. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be your top six now, in whatever order it looks. Bournemouth won't really be caught unless they
have a disaster of final day.
Let's say, unless they have a disaster. If they lose their last game, Brighton can actually jump them into sixth.
Yeah, Brighton
have the better goal difference.
Brighton missed a huge opportunity over the weekend in that game against Leeds.
Yeah.
Didn't really show up first half, second half. Came at them, but Van Hecke, I think it was, with a bad pass back to let Calvert-Lewin in.
You look, Chelsea can actually drop down to 10th by the end of the weekend, depending on how results go. We'll take a look at the fixtures, will we?
Do you know who invented camping? Henry X.
Nice. I'll let you have that.
You're welcome. I'm going to have to throw you off now, Emily.
You did as well.
I'm getting radio silence off you over there.
I was trying to think of something else. There was another camping joke I had, but it's not good now. I'm not fucking just leave it now at this stage. Sorry, I'm going to look at the fixtures for the weekend. If I can find them. Fucking hell.
Disposable thumbs.
Yeah. Oh, it's Sunday. I was gone to Saturday.
That's your problem.
Right, so Brighton are at home to Man United.
Yeah.
Don't care. I don't think United care. Brighton still have a little bit of something to play for. They can go sixth, so it's all to play for there. There's the wooden spoon match. Next up is Burnley at home to Wolves. That's, no. Palace at home to Arsenal. Dead game there because Palace won't want to be risking their players ahead of their European final that Wednesday.
And Arsenal won't want to risk their players for their European final on the following Saturday.
So that's a bit of a dead rubber as well. Fulham at home to Newcastle. Nothing game. Like, these are all kind of dead games.
Deadwood.
Then you have Liverpool at home to Brentford, which is where there is a bit of something to play for.
Yes.
I think Liverpool will win that at home last day of the season, which will
be Salah's last game. So it'd be interesting to see if Arne Slot plays him, starts him.
Or will he toss Salah?
Gives him...
I'm happy with
I was going to do something about Caesar, but I'm not going to join you in that party. But just speaking on send-offs.
Philippe
send-offs.
Yeah.
Shamie Coleman.
Oh yes, of course.
This was mentioned. I didn't see the full scale of it. Apparently there wasn't much of a scale at all.
Really?
So it was his last game at the Hill Dickinson. Not that he played too many there, but his last game for Everton at home, and they didn't really do anything for him. They had one tifo, I think.
Seems a bit shit, doesn't it?
He's their longest ever servant.
And like, that's a player that could easily have gone elsewhere.
Like in his prime, he could have.
He strikes me as someone who would have really fit in well at Liverpool, actually.
Yeah, because he's like Steve Finnan.
Yeah. He's like the better Steve Finnan.
Steve Finnan 2.0.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what loyalty gets you in the game.
Yeah. A lot of criticism online about the lack of effort, the lack of a farewell. Like I was seeing some of the images, there was nobody left in the stadium.
It's ridiculous.
No, the game was a bit of a dead rubber. I don't think many fans.
I mean, this is Everton here. They need something to celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate one of your better players or one of your fucking longest serving players. Or your...
It seemed a bit flat.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting now with the dynamic. I think Slot would be wise to give the fans what they want. Despite the comments from Mo Salah online, I think he'd be wise to just give him his farewell, let the fans enjoy the moment, say goodbye to him.
Maybe
and good luck and good riddance from his point of view.
He'll start him, but before the game kicks off, he'll be in loosening the studs on his boots.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd say he'll probably start him and then bring him off for a standing ovation.
What I will say, right?
That's what they usually do.
What I will say is that there's still something to play for here for Liverpool in terms of league position.
Is there?
I suppose maybe not. No. I was going to say, like, you pick your best squad, you pick your best 11 if you still have something to play for. But I suppose they're going into the Champions League.
They're going Champions League, but I don't know. I think I would actually like to see. It's a rare occasion, but I'd like to see Liverpool win it for the simple fact that I'd like to see them leapfrog Aston Villa
for the sake of Bournemouth.
For the sake of Bournemouth getting that
I
extra
agree.
Champions League.
I agree.
I think it's a nice story.
Speaking
because they're still unbeaten since January.
Yeah,
like people are forgetting. I know there's a lot of draws in there.
Like let's be honest, they well and truly deserve to get rewarded for their run of form.
Yeah, I think Guardiola would be sick though, wouldn't he?
You'd have to think so. Like to lead them to the Champions League and then not manage them in
and
it.
You see how much he loves on the sideline.
Yeah,
like you'd
wonder what's going on there.
Maybe just I know it doesn't get much bigger than Champions League, but in terms of clubs and the actual development and growth of Bournemouth with all the PFA regulations and all that sort of stuff, it's very hard to make that jump on a permanent basis.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So maybe he's just trying to skip that process and go for the Champions League. Like maybe, because I can see Guardiola at a PSG.
Yeah, you could see that.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know how long Enrique would stick around there, but I can see him in like a top European club.
Or and maybe or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think Vincent Kompany's going to be there for a while. But
speaking of Bayern Munich, did you see the celebrations at the
beer fest?
Yeah,
things they always do that every year.
Yeah, I never noticed that before.
Have you not?
No, I've never seen that
they
before.
do it all every year. Yeah, it's a tradition. Yeah,
I want to win the German league.
Yeah, sure. They always go to Oktoberfest and all, and wear the lederhosens and
right. Okay.
Yeah, they're mad for the traditions over
there. We mentioned Villa. The next game up is Man City at home to Villa. I think Man City win it. Pep gets a good send off, and everybody's happy.
But again, a Man City win would help Bournemouth, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, they get to walk around the stadium with their 2 domestic cups.
Yeah,
and no Premier League title.
Oh, did they not win it this year?
No.
Did they not?
No. Arsenal won it this year.
So they lost that game tonight, did they? Or drew?
They drew.
Oh, drew. All right. Yeah.
Which then leads us on to the next game, Gav. Forest at home to Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth win it. They've everything to play for going into this one now.
Forest are safe.
And that'd be one of the bigger stories of
the biggest story. The biggest story, like of all the permutations in terms of European football and all that. That's
that one.
That's interesting for the fans that are involved in that.
Yeah. But look,
for everybody else, it's who's going down, West Ham or Tottenham. I still think Tottenham are going to stay up. I don't have any faith in West Ham based off the last 2 or 3 performances. They have been
the only one they showed up for. The only one they showed up for was
Arsenal. Yeah.
It was almost like they only showed up because they wanted to fuck up Arsenal.
Yeah, but
I also don't really have much faith in Everton that they'll get a result against Spurs.
They're already on the beach.
Yeah. So I do think
they got battered the weekend, Everton, didn't they? 3-1 was it against Brentford?
I'm not sure. Can't remember. Do you want me to have a look? Or
Go on, have a look just to confirm with the night because it's getting late. I'm getting tired, and we're in at 1:45 again, Dave.
Yeah, we are again.
We do like to talk, don't we?
They lost at home to Sunderland 3-1.
That's what I said. Oh, Sunderland. I knew
said.
it was red and white.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Right, so moving on quickly then, Gav, because we are
at midnight.
We are at midnight. Next two games. Spurs are home to Everton and West Ham are home to Leeds. And I don't think there's going to be any shocks. I think Spurs stay up. West Ham go down, unfortunately. But what I will say is, I predicted it at the very start of our first episode. Well, at the very start. But in our first episode, we made predictions as to who's going to stay up, go down. West Ham were my shout. Yeah. So I like being right.
I think, did we both?
We might have done. I'd have to go back and listen to it. And all of you will as well.
Yeah. So go back and listen to it if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
And then that concludes
episode 30.
Episode 30.
So I'm going to go to bed.
I'm going to go home and I'm going to...
God bless.
I'm probably going to try and get the celebrations in and see what I missed.
Didn't know where you were going with that. You can't see this, but he was making some weird faces as he was trying to get those words out
because I couldn't think of the words, and I made a flappy. Sorry.
Yeah, see what I mean? He's not helping. It's making it worse.
It's past midnight. I'm tired.
We're all tired.
Yeah.
Listen, for those new followers that may be listening, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed what you heard today. Go back through the catalogue, particularly the interview episodes. They're always pretty good.
Interview episodes, and head over to YouTube and check out the games we went out to and got some coverage there. They are kind of a snippet of what we are looking to do more of going into next season as well.
Absolutely. And we'll be getting plenty of more guests on, plenty of more guest hosts. And watch the space, big things to come. We will be back next week for an episode, but then we'll be on a slight break for the summer. And good night. God bless. Slán